Okay guys, just San here, back for another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and today we're going to be checking out the Tech LR Goku and Vegeta, seeing how badly they've aged, because they are, I think, a little over 1 year old now, because they were the previous year's Tanabata or Thank You Celebration release. So I think it'd be pretty interesting to see how good they're looking now, especially because they're good. They have a lot of things in their passive that make it to where, you know, they would age slower, but for sure the power creep we've gotten has been humongous. So, you know, we can just see in the video if the power creep really has made this unit useless, or if he's still pretty good in some of the more difficult events. And, yeah, but before we get into it, I do want to give a shout out to my boy Mo. He did hook me up with these really cool side borders. So if you want to check him out, his Twitter is going to be at the top of the description. And, yeah, I mean, let's just get right into it. So, starting off with this guy, his leader skill is Time Limit or Connected Hope, category Ki plus 3, HP plus 130%, and then Attack and Defense plus 130%. So, not really the best leader skill right here, especially because it's only it's a 170 lead, but it's got that 130% to HP, which really holds this guy back, because I don't really think you're going to be wanting to run a 130% HP buff in, like, the Cell Max event or any of the Red Zone stages and all that. But for sure, Time Limit and Connected Hope are two pretty alright categories. I know Time Limit is actually really good, but I will go over that in a minute. So starting off with his super attack effects, he raises attack and defense for 1 turn and causes colossal damage to enemy on his 12 key. And then on his 18 key, he raises attack and defense for 1 turn and causes mega colossal damage to enemy. So pretty much the same effect right there, except for the change in damage. And then for his passive, he gets attack and defense plus 120%. He reduces damage received by 30% just for free. So this is very similar to the STR Goku and Vegeta, who we did do a showcase on not too long ago. And I think it would actually be kind of cool to see how well these two like compare to each other, because you could see with a lot of stuff in their passives, they were built very similar. So it is interesting to see the parallel between them. But yeah, so he has that free 30% damage reduction. He has a high chance of randomly changing key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres. And then he gets an additional 2 key per rainbow key sphere obtained. And then he has a medium chance of launching an additional super attack. So for sure, the fact that the rainbow key sphere changing is only a high chance is a little unfortunate. But at least he has it, right? So yeah, so that's pretty solid with him. And then for his, we'll go over his links and categories really quick. So for his links, he's got stuff like Sand Warrior Race, Experienced Fighters, the Sand Lineage, Shocking Speed, Prepare for Battle, Fierce Battle, and Legendary Power. Amazing link set right here. Experienced Fighters is a little weird, but you will for sure still have this active a good amount of the time when you're running him, because of course, I mean, some good units are for sure still on here. But I would say that that might be the link you're not going to be getting active as much compared to stuff like Shocking Speed, Fierce Battle, Prepare for Battle, you know, Legendary Power and all that. But still a very good link set overall. You won't really struggle getting a lot of those links active with him. And then for his categories, I won't go through them all because he has a lot, but he's got a lot that stand out, like Time Limit, Pure Sands, Kamehameha is pretty good, Bond of Parent and Child is really good, Fused Fighter is good, obviously Super Sands is really good. So, I mean, some pretty solid categories in there. Some of the stuff that, or not some of the stuff, some of the categories he has that aren't necessarily crazy could be crazy with the 200% lead. So a lot of these categories could be good in time. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it with this category. I didn't even mention Movie Heroes. Movie Heroes is probably the best category in the game right now, and he is on here. So, of course, that is a W. But, yeah, so let's get into his active skill. So the condition for that is that it can be activated when HP is 70% or more, starting from the 4th turn from start of battle. So, not really that bad. I would say that, I mean, in most content, on turn 4, you'll be above 70% HP. But sometimes this can be difficult to get activated. I can for sure see that. But, I mean, for the most part, this is pretty easy. And when he does transform, this guy does actually become pretty good. So, his super attack effects don't really change at all, except for on his 18 key, instead of doing nothing with the raising attack and defense, he also lowers attack and defense. So, that for sure is pretty nice, because that makes him pretty useful in stuff like Super Battle Road or Extreme Super Battle Road, or honestly just anywhere where you can lower the attack and defense of the enemy. And then for his passive skill effect, he recovers 30% HP. So you might notice that's not as much as the Vegito. The Vegito actually recovers 55% HP. So this guy does not recover as much HP, but the HP recovery is still pretty nice. 30%, well, it's a noticeable difference, right? And then he gets 150% attack and defense, attacks effective against all types, and great chance of performing a critical hit. Randomly changes key spheres of a certain type to rainbow key spheres, plus an additional key plus 2 per rainbow key sphere obtained. Key plus 5 reduces damage received by 30% and foresees the enemy's super attack for 5 turns from start of turn when an enemy is hit by this character's ultra super attack. And then he nullifies unarmed enemies' super attacks. Wait, I think I worded that weird. He nullifies unarmed super attacks directed at the character from that enemy for the duration of that turn. Sorry, I worded that kind of oddly at the beginning. But yeah, so I mean, he has that nullification for unarmed super attacks, which is pretty nice because the nullification is not a dodge. So if the enemy cancels dodge, you can still get that off. He's got damage reduction, which it does kind of suck that it's limited to only 5 turns. But that is it's still nice that he has it. It's cool that he doesn't lose it, unlike the Vegito, because when he fuses, he does lose that 30% damage reduction he has, but this guy does keep it. He does also have the Scouter, which I would argue is probably one of the main reasons you're using this guy, is because he has that 5-turn Scouter. So for sure, that is very, very useful. Not as good as the Vegito's 10-turn Scouter, but 5 turns is still pretty nice. And then he's got a lot of ki going around, so that for sure is pretty nice too, for him being an LR, so it'll just help him get that 18 ki super attack off. And then, yeah, just a lot of stuff that makes him pretty solid. You could tell this guy has aged for sure, but I would say considering he is a little over a year old, this isn't really the worst passive, because you got to keep in mind he came out right before a humongous jump in power creep. So for sure, pretty solid right there. His link set does change a little. He gains Golden Warrior, Super Saiyan, Fuse Fighter, and Kamehameha. Still some pretty good links. They say level 1 right here, but that's just something in my private server. I'm pretty sure they are still level 10, So yeah, I mean, that's about it. No equipment on him. He is built full crit, which I do suggest you go full additionals with him. But again, private server, I can't really do anything about that. But yeah, I mean, that is pretty much it with this guy. Let's go ahead and hop into the Legendary Vegeta event when we're showcasing him. Okay, guys, so here we are in the Legendary Vegeta event. We've got a very good opening rotation with him, as we've got some support right here, and we are going to have all 7 links because this guy does actually share 7 out of 7 links with the Vegito counterpart that I was talking about earlier. So again, a very good rotation for him right here. We got support, we got a lot of links active, and start of turn, we're at 211k defense. So that's not horrible because he does have that 30% damage reduction, just for free, basically. And then he is also getting 30% defense per super attack he's doing. And he does have built-in additionals, right? So we could easily jump up to like a little over 300k defense with 30% damage reduction, which, I mean, that's not really that bad. I would say considering he's Rainbow Orb changing on top of that, that's actually kind of solid. So let's see what he's looking like offensively right here. We're going to manage to get the full 24 key super attack. And again, we got all 7 links and we have 30% support. So very good rotation. And let's see what we're looking like. If it loads. So 6.42. 6.42 is actually pretty impressive because, again, we have that medium chance of doing the additional super attack, and our defense is just racking up per super we're getting. So that, okay, so we didn't get the additional right there, but that is actually really good, especially in comparison to the Vegito, who's only at 5.4. But of course, this guy is almost, what is he, almost 3 years old now, I think? Or he's like 2.5 years old. So I mean, it does make sense because he's much, much older than the Tech Goku and Vegeta. So it does make sense that, of course, he wouldn't be as good, but still, you could still tell that their passives are very similar. And obviously, throughout the video, I'm going to be comparing them because not only are we running them by each other, but again, their passives just parallel each other, and they're very, very similar. But I do think for sure the fact that the Vegito has those extra turns for the Scouter and he heals more, I think that is really useful because, like I was saying, the main reason you're going to be running this Tech Goku and Vegeta is probably because they're Scouter, right? I mean, if you have, because there's better options. If you're running them on a Super Saiyans team or something, or Pure Saiyans team, there's better tech options for sure. Like off the top of my head, there's the Goku and Gohan, who I think will probably look a little bit better post Super Attack, and then there is the Tech Carnival LR Goku, who I think is just a little bit better overall than this guy. Oh, of course, because he's a newer unit. But I think for sure if you're going to run this guy, it's probably because of that Scouter. So the fact that it is only for 5 turns in comparison to the Vegito's 10-turn Scouter is a little bit weird, but it's still good he has it, right? So start of turn with 178k defense. Definitely a little bit of a drop-off, but you've got to keep in mind we lost that support. So I'm still not horrible. Once again, we're going to be at full 24 key. I just realized we can pop this. Okay, I feel like I'm going to struggle to get this activated later in the video. So I think I'm just going to pop it now. I mean, we can see what he's like start of turn defensive, his start of turn defense without any support. 178k isn't really that good, but after we get those super attacks, we could we could approach maybe 300k. We'll probably be around 250k, but we would still be somewhere near 300k defense with 30% damage reduction, which, I mean, that's not horrible. There is for sure some use for that. So, I mean, considering his age, I would say that's a pretty good defensive level. But we are actually going to transform with him right here just to see what this is looking like. So, yeah, this is the animation for it, too. I would say this animation actually looks really good as well. I mean, a couple, like, spots in it for sure look a little wonky. But overall, it's pretty clean. I mean, look at that shot right there. That's a good shot. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, cool. So, I think we are going to lose a couple of our links. So, yeah, we're only going to have 5 out of 7 links active now instead of the 7 out of 7 links. But, keep in mind, yeah, start of turn, we're at 185k defense instead of the 76k defense I think it was before. And then we are still getting that 30% defense on super attack. We do still have that 30% damage reduction. And we also have that chance to nullify unarmed super attacks. So, and we have the Scouter, right? And we have the crit chance. I think we're super effective against all types. And we've got a lot of ki going around. And we just recovered HP. So, there's just a lot going on with this guy right now. Because I know the spike in defense wasn't necessarily that huge. Like, we only jumped 10,000k in defense. But still, you got to keep in mind with everything he's doing. I would say that is for sure pretty good. So, I'm going to put this guy in slot 1. I'm going to hope he doesn't kill right here. But we could easily, knowing my luck in these showcases, he's going to kill. I don't know why. I always get additionals and crits like now when I don't want him to. So, come on. So, 2.79. Okay. As long as this doesn't crit and we don't get any additionals, we can still, we'll be fine. It crit. Of course it crit. Okay. Whatever. To hell with that Vegito anyway. Okay, well, whatever. We can get a rotation with him with some support. So, I do know we transformed with him kind of early, too. But that, you got to keep in mind that Tech Goku and Vegeta weren't really, like, they don't build up or anything. They don't stack or anything like that. So, what they were like turn 1 was actually probably the best rotation we would have seen in the video anyway. Because we had our 7 out of 7 links active. We had the support and all that. So, there wasn't really much else to show with them. But, I mean, I'm happy we still got to get the fuse animation in the video. Because I know the restriction or the active skill to get them fused isn't really that difficult. But still, I just wanted to make sure we got it in the video sooner than later. So, yeah. But, yeah, unfortunately, we weren't able to see a super attack animations. Which does suck because this guy has some pretty clean animations. I would say, actually, they still hold up, like... I mean, they hold up to this day, but I would even consider them, like, maybe top 15 best animations in the game. But that might just be me, because, of course, you know, I love Gogeta, I love, you know, the fusions, so yeah, I can transform with this guy. If I transform with him, I think his link set changes, and then do they share 7 out of 7 links when they're fused? Okay, they share everything except for Golden Warrior, so that is for sure pretty useful. Okay, so with the support, start of turn, we're at 207k defense, which is pretty good still, because after that 30% defensive raise we get on our 18 key super attack, that would shoot us at 260k defense, and with the 30% damage reduction, with the amount of damage he's going to be doing, and with the 70% chance to nullify unarmed super attacks, that's pretty good, for sure, and the Scouter, of course, I gotta mention the Scouter, so, considering everything he's doing, I would say that is pretty solid. I would say for sure this is a very good rotation for him, and he should put up a pretty good attack stat right here. I mean, we got the support, we got 6 out of 7 links active. Yeah, so 6.3, I mean, considering the, you know, super effective against all types, the crit chance and all that, I mean, we are looking pretty good right here, because that is pretty good. Yeah, 4.9 damage, so basically 5 million damage with the crit. And the KO screen, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm not really a huge fan of this. It looks cool, but it doesn't really, like, look that cool. But maybe that's just me. I don't know. I might just be crazy. Okay, hopefully we don't take too much damage from this super attack right here. I mean, we wouldn't... I don't think we would die, but this for sure could do a little bit of damage. Yeah, this right here, so... Hopefully this doesn't do, like 300, 400k. Okay, 300k, that kind of sucks. And we got our defense lowered. So then, yeah, we're taking 500k. Okay. That is a little bit damage. Maybe I should have gotten a... I don't know, maybe I should have thrown the Vegito in slot 1. They took a lot of damage right there. Or maybe I should have just popped the Ghost Usher. But yeah, speaking of items, I did also bring the nuking items for the Gogeta, so maybe we'll showcase like one more rotation with this guy, and then we'll nuke with him, and then we'll probably call it a video. I know, kind of a shorter video, because we didn't really get to showcase the pre-transformed version as much as we normally get to in these showcases, but Again, there wasn't really much to him when he's pre-transformed because he doesn't build up or stack or anything like that, so it just kind of is what it is. But I for sure think that this guy is a slot 2 and 3 unit overall because, I mean, well, let's see what he's looking like start of turn defense right here. So start of turn, we're at 215k. 215k with the 30% damage reduction is good, but that is not slot 1 worthy. You for sure still want to chuck this guy in slot 2 or 3 so he can get that 30% defense on his 18 key. And then if you get an additional with him, even better, because again, I suggest you go full additionals with this guy. And then if you get that additional, you'd be like 350k defense with 30% damage reduction, which, I mean, that's good. It's not crazy, but that's still pretty good. So okay, so I am going to have to rotate this Vegito off because with his counters and everything, he would end up actually killing right here. So we're going to have to throw the Gotenks in slot 1 instead, just so we can get a super attack off of the Gogeta. I almost called him a Vegito. Just to see what he's looking like offensively. And then, like I said, next rotation we'll nuke with him. So yeah, I mean, hopefully we don't like crit right here and then get an additional crit. Because if we do, actually we might kill. Okay, we crit, but no additional. Sweet. So what are we looking like? So 6.53, so about the same we were at, but again, you got to consider his crit chance. He's super effective against all types and all that. And, I mean, defensively, he's not horrible, right? I mean, what is he at? Almost 300k defense with 30% damage reduction and that great chance to nullify unarmed super attacks. So, I mean, that is pretty useful. But I would say the fact that it's unarmed super attacks does kind of suck. I mean, it makes sense for his passive, right? Because in the movie, you see Gogeta takes Janemba's like punch right to the face, so it for sure makes sense. But unarmed super attacks for sure are a lot less common than like Ki Blast super attacks or something like that. So I mean, it's going to be kind of difficult to get this activated. You're for sure going to have to go out of your way to make sure that he can get it activated for you to have any use with it. But I guess still, it's just nice he has it. And again, it is nullifying, so even if the enemy cancels dodge, you still got it and all that. So there's some use with it for sure. But I think I barely talked about how he is lowering attack and defense as well, so I'll talk about that for a minute. Yeah, the fact that he is lowering attack and defense is very useful because, again, in stuff like Super Battle Road and just all that, I think it's going to make him very useful. And because this guy doesn't get, like, too crazy with his defensive numbers, as long as you hit that, or you hit the enemy with the attack debuff, that would just make this guy tank a lot better. Because that 30% damage reduction will go a long way if you have debuffed the enemy offensively and you get that 30% defense on your 18 key. So, okay, so we have a pretty solid rotation right here. As we can see, the super attack is in slot 1. I don't want to take that, so I'm just going to pop a Ghost Usher. Oh my god, I can't pop a Ghost Usher. Okay. So I'm going to throw him in slot 1. I don't think we would die to this because we have type advantage, right? But I don't want him to kill. Okay, perfect. So we won't get a super attack with him. I am going to orb change right here so we can get the full field of Tech Key Spheres. Okay, that's a lot of Tech Key Spheres. Usually I don't get this lucky with the Tech Key Spheres, but okay. So we can get 18 Key Spheres, and then we're going to use the World Tournament Announcer item. Oh yeah, and we heal from the Key Spheres, so yeah, we're fine right here. So over 2 million just raw attack. Once again, we're at 215k defense, and we do have the 30% support, so, I mean, pretty good rotation for him right here. I forgot to check his links, but I think we're looking at like 5 out of 7 links or something right here. So links-wise, we are still looking very good. But this shouldn't do too much damage, right? I mean, we have type advantage, of course. Yeah, 72k, so that's really not that bad. I'm just happy we didn't get the Dokkan mode because the Dokkan mode kind of covers up the super attack. So 14 million damage. You know, the crit, the super effective against all types, the scouter, the great chance to nullify unarmed super attacks, 9.6 million crit, and he just barely survived that too. Wow. So pretty good attack set right there, but of course you got to remember that doesn't really count to his overall performance because that was an artificially enhanced rotation. But yeah, I mean, that pretty much has been the video. Not really too much to show off with this guy. Really just a pretty solid unit overall. And I would say for sure he's aged a little bit, right? I mean, in some of the more difficult content, you can take a lot of damage with him, but you got to keep in mind he does have that scouter, and also he has the nullifying chance for unarmed super attacks. So, I mean, you could find some use with this guy as long as you play your cards correctly. But yeah, that has been the video. Let me know if there's anyone else you want me to do a showcase on, and again, make sure you check out Mo. I'll leave a link to his Twitter at the top of the description. And yeah, that's been the video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.